Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz, the latest roundup of sports tonight. We've got lots to discuss. We're going to be introducing you to someone very, very special who's made a mark. I think it's certainly, another great achievement for mankind. The last one, which we always talk about, is Neil Armstrong landing on the moon. But this time what we're discussing is even bigger. So we're going to have all the excitement. We're going to keep the suspense. But I think it's just a remarkable feat that she's been able to achieve. And I think it just sets the boundaries and standards very high. It's all about self-belief. It's about never giving up. And it's about not taking no for an answer and no excuses in life. I think that's the mantra forward. And, I always quote what Apollo Creed said to Rocky Balboa. He said, there is no tomorrow. So there is definitely not tomorrow. But before we do that, we also have to tell you that Pakistan have unfortunately lost their second T20 to New Zealand as well. It was a high-intensity game that was reduced to 15 overs just because of the fact that rain marred play and the toss was delayed as well. Then the wet outfield delayed the start of play. So I think it was, a bit disappointing. So we're going to come to that in a bit as well. But like I said, so, there is no tomorrow. And for this young woman, it has never been, something that she's looking forward to tomorrow. She's going to do it when she wants to do it. So I think that's something that we're going to be discussing. She's achieved a remarkable feat, which will, of course, be, I think, written in the history books in golden words as well. And once we introduce you to this, women as well, you're going to be very, very inspired by the journey, what it takes. And, the whole concept of what we're discussing today is something that no man dare dream of. And, this is a lady who's done that. So I think ladies 1, men 0, simple as that. But there are a lot of great men who achieve things as well. But I think when it comes to her, she's certainly been a quarter mile ahead. So we're going to be discussing that in detail. And then, of course, we've got to tell you about the Olympics as well and give you a little bit of update about our contingent that has returned home. They've had a remarkable performance in the Special Olympics and they've received a hero's welcome back at the airport as well. So congratulations to them and also the Paralympic Committee as well. So we're going to be, just giving you a brief about that. But like I said, we're going to be talking about somebody very, very special. You take a look at this report that highlights her career and the journey so far, and then we continue the discussion.
Sana Arif is a Pakistani triathlete who has made her country proud by competing in international events. Born in Kuwait and raised in Lahore, she returned to Kuwait in 2007 where she developed a passion for endurance sports. Although she was always active in sports, she never imagined becoming a triathlete. Her journey began after hearing about an American athlete who completed an Ironman race to honor lost friends. Inspired by this story, Sana decided to take on the challenge, but she faced a major obstacle. She didn't know how to swim. Overcoming her fear of water, she started learning in 2021 with the support of her sisters and friends. She successfully completed her first Ironman 70.3 event in Turkey. This tough race involves a 1.9-kilometer swim, 90-kilometer cycling, and a 21-kilometer run, all in one go. Training for such a demanding competition required daily discipline and sacrifice. Sana credits her family's encouragement for helping her stay motivated. Despite challenges like a lack of national support and financial hurdles, she continues to push forward, proving that Pakistanis can excel in endurance sports. She hopes that more investment and sponsorships will support young athletes in the future. Sana believes that discipline and mental strength are just as important as physical fitness. Her advice to aspiring athletes, especially women, is to start small, stay consistent, and surround themselves with supportive people.
Well, there you have it. Sabah Shafiq gives us the details in this report regarding who we're going to be introducing you. So I think the surprise is all out. And I think as Marilyn Monroe put it very beautifully, she said, strong women don't have attitude, they have standards. And I think certainly these ones are very high. We're very honored to be joined in studios by the queen herself, who's aced it all, Sana Arif. Assalamu alaikum, Sana.
Welcome, salam.
How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm very well, very excited. I'm feeling a bit of powerful energy sitting next to you. But it was just a remarkable feat what we saw in the report as well. But I think I'm going to, turn the clock a bit back as well. Born in Kuwait, then moved to Lahore, then, focusing on different sports as we all do growing up, and then moving back to Kuwait. How has this journey been in terms of, falling in love with the sport?
So I had always been very athletic. The moving part, I think, helped me a lot because there were not a lot of opportunities I had in Pakistan, but I could do whatever I was able to do. And when I moved back to Kuwait, I was surrounded by a lot of athletes. A lot of my friends, they were into different kind of sports. But as you heard that I got inspiration from an American triathlete who was doing it for their lost friends. And I think one step led to another, and 2021 I started learning how to swim. My goal was always Ironman 70.3. My goal is Ironman the full distance, but 70.3 to start with. And I think it was, alhamdulillah, because of my family's support, my friends' support, my coach, and eventually I was able to do what I had always dreamt of.
Well, obviously there are challenges at every step, and you know, I think the biggest one which I've been gobsmacked to hear is that you were hydrophobic.
Yes.
And overcoming that fear is not an easy one. I know people who've been trying to do that but still haven't been able to achieve that. And then there's you who's jumping right in the middle of something you don't even know has a bottom of.
Yeah.
So how has that experience been?
It was very scary. I won't lie. It was very scary. I started learning how to swim knee-deep waters, in the pool, of course. And when I had to go in the open waters, there was a race where I panicked and I had to come out. It was an aquathlon. It was my first aquathlon. I was very confident I can do it. My friends made me get ready for it. And after that, I stopped swimming for like 6 months. And then one day I was like, if I keep doing this, I'm never going to achieve my goal. So I would say thanks a lot to my friends who used to tie my leg with their leg, and they would take me to the water with them. And it was not easy, especially even now when I know that I don't know what is there underwater, especially the water is not clear. It's scary, but I think I've fallen in love with water slowly. The hydrophobia has gone, so yeah, I'm good now.
Certainly, you know, we were talking about Iron Woman, I think Aqua Woman now. So she's acing everything that she's touching is turning to gold at the moment. But what was the first, you know, like you mentioned, your friends and family have been very supportive. So when you first told them that this is, I'm not going to do it just on land, I'm going to do it on water as well. So what was their general perception? What did they tell you about, you know, what's there in the future?
For my family, my parents were scared the most because being in the water is very scary. My mom would be up every morning whenever I would go for this deep waters. But slowly I think they got over the fact that they started trusting me more. They were more trusting me. They were trusting me in a way that they know that if Sana is going for something, she's going to achieve it, because I think it was the confidence which I gave it to them. And slowly I think it was just something that became very achievable for me.
So it's a bit of a cliche, but I must ask you this, that what's the general training regime for this? For somebody who's competing in a marathon, I would say, you know, they're working on their breathing exercise, they're running every day a little bit, and then, you know, working on endurance and strength training. But when you talk about a triathlon and this, you know, extreme contest, which I say tests probably one of the, I think the most testing competition ever created by mankind. So what was the general routine that you had to go through to, you know, train and equip your body for this?
The training was because it's high endurance race, I had to train twice a day, swimming in the morning, then I had to go to work, then I had to come back, and I would either run or I would bike. And the issue, or I would say what's most difficult part about this training is the breathing technique is different for each. Swimming is a completely different breathing technique, running is different, cycling is different. So I had a proper plan which my coach had provided me with, and with that I had, like, there were a lot of cries, there was a lot of tears whenever I had to train for it, especially because I was too tired. But I think it was my training that was the most difficult part, where I had to keep myself disciplined, and mentally I had to be very strong. I would be crying, I would be complaining, I would make everyone's life hell, but I knew whatever I do, I still have to train. So it's not that I was always very happy, I was always very motivated, but in my mind, I knew this is the goal I have to achieve, cry, whatever, crib about it, but go for it.
So once the race starts, you're competing, you're into competition mode, and the adrenaline is kicking slowly, right? So it's a step-by-step process. So what was going in through your mind? You know, there is always a human instinct where maybe you think, no, I'm just done with this now, but I have to go forward, I have to go forward.
Yes. So I would say that during my first Ironman, before it started, I was crying at the start line. I had a friend with me and she was like, Sana, if you want to cry, just cry. I had my swimming goggles on and I kept crying because I couldn't believe I was there at the start line of my dream, which I wasn't sure if I'll be able to achieve or not, because, you know, it's a long distance race. You don't know at what point you give up or your body gives up. But in my mind, I think for it was in 2023. So the whole 2023, every day, every single hour, I would say, I imagined finish line in my mind. Whatever happened, I knew this is a line. Whatever happens to me, I have to cross this finish line. So I think this was the whole process that went out in the background. People would see me smiling or whatever. But in my mind, at the back of my mind, I knew that this is the finish line which I am going to achieve.
So it's become a bit of a life skill, hasn't it now?
I think yes. Triathlon makes you mentally very strong. It is a life skill, and it came after a lot of hard work.
Were there second thoughts in between?
Yes, once I had to fix my bike, and I was fixing the chain. My hands became black because of the oil, and I just threw my bike on the side, like I'm not doing it. But I think 5 minutes later, I was like, okay, I know I have to do it. So I brought it back, and I went ahead with it.
Well, that's probably where the feminine side came in. You know, what am I doing?
Yes,
it's not for me.
I even took pictures of my hand.
I'm too pretty for this right now.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, it was not that once it came to my mind. It came to my mind like a million times. Like, why am I doing this? I would get tired. I would be crying. I'm not able to sleep properly. I'm not able to eat properly. I'm not able to hang out with my family or friends. A lot of sacrifices. But I think my dream was much stronger than what I was feeling at that point of time.
Absolutely. You know, I'm sure you're aware of that, but you have become an absolute inspiration for women of our region who are unfortunately perceived as not to be that, you know, strongly built mentally and physically. But now I think it's become a bit of a light that you are at the end of that tunnel, where women probably see you and believe that, you know, maybe we can achieve something like that, or we have the capability. So how's the post experience been? Have you been talking to a lot of girls, a lot of women who now would probably believe that, you know, this is something that we can probably equip ourselves with as well?
I have always been surrounded by very strong women. I have friends who are into different kinds of sports. So that was a big motivation for me as well. Like I got my inspiration from a lot of people. And after I did it, I cannot believe the amount of support I got from the girls. Of course, males as well. But the girls, I would get messages and I would cry sometimes. It was a very emotional moment for me as well. So I hope what I did and what I'm doing right now, it would inspire people, especially the women. And women are strong. Even Pakistani women, they are very strong. I'm Pakistani. So, and I know very strong Pakistani women who are into different kinds of sports. So I think it's just a matter of knowing that you can do it and just fighting against the odds, fighting against people who tell you, no, you can't do it, fighting against your own mind blocks that you can't do it. So I think, yeah, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, you know, now at every point in an athlete's life is a point where you now start believing in yourself that you can probably transfer this skill to the next generation as well. So what would you like to say to a lot of young girls out there who probably see you, like I said, as an inspiration, and maybe they want to be now, as you wanted to be the next American athlete, they want to be the next Sana Arif. So what would you like to advise them? How do they start? What do they look forward to?
First of all, if you have dreamt of something, go ahead with it. You will have a lot of struggles. You might think you're not able to achieve it. I had this dream for maybe 15 years, but I started learning how to swim only in 2021. I never thought I could swim at that point of time. But I think if you have odds against you, speak to your family. Your family will always be there to support you. If your family doesn't support you, I would say still go ahead and achieve your dream, because eventually they will come to terms that their daughter can do it. So just focus on your dream and believe that you can do it. There's nothing impossible. Okay, there might be, you have the mind blocks that I can't do it, but if you're putting your mind to it, if you're properly training for it, speak to people, speak to coaches, do your research, and you will eventually achieve it. This is a dream which I never thought I would ever achieve. I would look up to people who were doing Ironman, and one day I did it. So I think it's about manifesting that you can do it. And most importantly, you have to put in the work to do it.
Absolutely. You know, most of us in life have a bucket list. I'm sure you've got a storage list now. So since, you know, most of the things over there have been ticked off, what's next for Sana Arif?
So I have done Ironman 70.3 right now. My goal is to do the full one and eventually go for the extreme triathlons, which I don't know when is it going to happen, because I believe in doing the work and then announcing. If I've done something, then announcing it before. but I'm putting in the hard work. I'm praying for it, and I'm trying my best to put the word out there, because these races are expensive and you need sponsors. So I hope someday someone will watch me, would be watching this, and they will know that yes.
How's it going so far with the sponsorship?
It's not, I wouldn't, so I have this brand in Kuwait that sponsors me with the registration of the races. It's called Pro Sports. But that's just one part of it, because it's again, like I said, it requires a lot of sponsorship. So far there isn't any luck, but I'm very hopeful, because especially after coming to P2V, which I know is watched by a lot of people, and it's like the oldest news channel of Pakistan. I'm hopeful that there will be some light.
You know, you give me another 5 minutes, I'm sure she's going to announce me as a marketing manager. I'm telling you this is going to happen in the next 5 minutes. I can make those things happen. But that being said, we all know Sports Extra is always out there, but I'm pretty sure that this program, obviously going global in Pakistan's only English channel, we do have bragging rights. And I am sure that destiny awaits. As soon as you get your next pride of performance from the government of Pakistan, I think things are going to change dramatically. And I would certainly request government quotas as well to the Honorable Office of the Prime Minister as well. I think if there is anyone right now on that list of pride of performance, she's sitting right here. She's not only made Pakistan proud, but she's the epitome of what a strong woman is. And I think certainly I am very, very optimistic that a pride of Pakistan is coming your way very soon.
Thank you so much. You really have boosted my morale.
No,
so I hope.
You know, I'm probably hoping to next time see you, you're going to be running on the polar ice cap. So, you know, I'm just trying to play my part in it as well. I'm not even thinking about me, you know. But, you know, maybe that also comes with the job description of being a marketing manager, holding a GoPro and running after it. I think it's going to test my skill as well. But, you know, it's always important. I appreciate the fact that you mentioned sponsorship, and things are changing. We've got a lot of corporate entities in Pakistan that are supporting great causes in sports. Yours is a particular one, a bit different, but I think once the understanding goes around and you know, this voice through this program goes out, I'm sure that a lot of doors are going to open. That being said, you also mentioned what's next for you as well. What do you believe, you know, now this is a huge platform in which you've competed, but in Pakistan there is, you know, even less than a little awareness about it as well. So how can we, you know, us as media are part and parcel, so we're one part of the picture. But as a community, how can we, you know, create such platforms where we build athletes at the domestic level for competitions like this? What would you like to advise to relevant departments or entities who can actually make this happen in Pakistan?
I think triathlon is a very new sport for Pakistan. Not a lot of people know about it. There are some people who are into this kind of sport and they're doing it. So with the help of the media now, since they're getting to know about it, I think having a space where an athlete or a female or a male, they're able to train all these three sports together, that will help a lot. And again, social media, TV, all of this is going, the more you cover these kind of sports events, the more your country will get aware of it, and the more representation of Pakistanis in this kind of sport. Same like how it is in cricket, it's everyone knows about cricket. So more representation, which would require a lot of effort from the government to build the gyms and to build a safe space for people to train about all these
Absolutely. I think three things that need to happen immediately. One, we talked about her Pride of Pakistan or Pride of Performance Award. The next one, somebody should give her her own cartoon now. That should happen immediately. She needs to have a cartoon series. And the third one that needs to immediately happen is Marvel probably have their next candidate, not for any more Iron Man series, but for Iron Woman series now. So immediately change that title to Iron Woman and get Sana Arif on the Marvel board. I think that really immediately needs to happen. But thank you very much, Sana, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
You've been such a big inspiration. And I think it was, you know, throughout the day when we were talking about this, our team of Sports Extra, we've got a fantastic team when they were discussing the output of the show and what the model is going to be, and we were reading through your profile as well. I think it was just amazing. It was, like I said, you know, one small step for Sana, but a giant leap for mankind. So I think it was certainly something that Neil Armstrong said all those years ago. But it's been absolutely fantastic, and I think one more time on behalf of representing the Pakistani nation. I would just like to say Pakistan thanks you for representing them with great pride on the global
Thank
front.
you so much to you, because you have put it out so well. You have explained it so well that I didn't even have to explain to anyone what this sport is. So,
Well,
good job to you.
like I said, we're doing 1%. You're
Yeah.
doing the 99%, and that too being hydrophobic. So we're not even coming too close to what you're doing. But like I said, our platform, PTV World, Pakistan Television in general, our doors are always open. So whenever we're needed, we'll always be there.
Thank you so much.
So obviously,
It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely, I think we'll take the rights for being her official media partners. Why not? Why not just grab the hero when you can? So in this case, Iron Woman, as we just put it. But thank you very much, Sana, once again for joining us. Thank you very much for being an inspiration, and we wish you all the best when it comes to your future course
Thank
of
you
races.
so much.
Thank you very much. So you've heard it from the Iron Woman herself, and I think one thing is certain, that you chase your dreams, you're going to achieve it. There's no doubt about it. But I think the bigger picture over here is there's no shortcuts. You take your fears head on. You battle those skeletons in your closet. You battle those demons. It's as someone said, all the heavens and hells are within you. And once you overcome those, I think you're destined for glory. There's nobody that can stop you. And in case of Sana, I think she's right there as a living example as well. So support her all you can, be it by virtue of digital media, raising a voice. Even I'd like to put it out for all corporate entities as well out there, that if there was anything that you should be sponsoring right now, trust me, with a 200% profit margin, it's this young lady right over here. So I think age is just a number, and she's certainly proven that as well. On that note, we take a short break. When we come back, we've got loads more to discuss. Stay tuned to Sports Extra. And welcome back to Sports Extra. Now we've brought you Pakistan's flying colors in all its glory when, we talk about Sana representing Pakistan on the global scale. Now we come back to business, and once again, same old day, same old story. It was then again a bit of a competitive game. I must give the team that much credit, that at least they didn't do that 90 odd once again. So the game was reduced to 15 overs, but unfortunately New Zealand once again got the better of us. And I've been stressing this fact that people have been only focusing on our batting for the past 5 to 6 years. What we've not realized, we have absolutely lost the cause of bowling, and we don't accept that. We try to create false heroes based on 4 overs in franchise cricket, and internationally it's a huge embarrassment. 26 runs in 2 overs to your star bowler. That just tells you where Pakistan's bowling is going at the moment. Anyways, to discuss this and much more, and trying to extract some positivity, because we always do constructive criticism for the good of Pakistan. We're not against players, we're not against the team, we're against the mindset that is prevailing over here, which is something which is not the brand of cricket anymore. So we're going to be discussing all about this. Joining us in studios is cricket commentator, international broadcaster, presenter, and our sports expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam. Bit dejected, but of course, as you said, that we'll try to pull out some positivity, some energy, and mashallah, you're looking good. You had a very good discussion with Sana, so
Yes.
you're looking so good.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
I've saved all my anger for this segment, trust me. But Asif, let's just put it. It was a bit more of a competition, so I'm a bit happy about that. That at least the match went a bit further, and fans didn't have to go home early. So that really happened, but that's only one side of the picture. Now the game reduced to 15 overs. Pakistan immediately realized how they should play, and had it not been for 2 cameos, then again, it wasn't just about our batting anymore. We need to realize what has happened. I mean, if you look at the first 5-6 overs, I thought that, it's New Zealand who would now try to take the game to the last over. Otherwise, they could have finished it in 12 overs probably.
Well, Ahmed, let's start from the beginning. That what happened. You lost the toss. Of course, that the way it was rain earlier, and whenever we talk about that you're reducing overs, 5 over reduced, it means that that the Pakistan didn't have planning, and then we didn't have good execution. Haris, once again, disappointment from him. I don't know why these guys are not learning that you're representing Pakistan, and this is international cricket. When you're playing cross with the cross bat, especially with, I'm talking about Haris. See, you're a cricketer, you're an opening batter. I've watched you, the way you play in the weed. I watched you. I love the way you take singles and you build your innings. I don't know these international cricketers why they're not learning the art that you're playing international cricket.
But you keep on sending other Nawaz. You know, I'm telling you, look at Ahmed Nawaz as well. You know, you're looking at Mohammad Nawaz, looking at Hassan Nawaz. You know, there's another Nawaz over here. You know, at least try to look at the.
Well, I'll send you a message to the selectors that we have a very good guy. Just give him a chance, and as you're giving to the others, as the other guys are getting chances, but they're not playing well. And Ahmed, the problem is why I'm dejected that the new guys, they're not understanding that what kind of opportunity this is. That you should be hero for Pakistan. You should be a future star for Pakistan. But the way they guys have started, I was just talking to Arslan Saeed Sahib earlier, and he was understanding, and he said that I watched the video of Mohammad Yusuf, the way he was telling to Hassan Nawaz and Haris that try to play with the weed, try to play with the straight bat, and if you are not able to play sweep shots, don't go for that. We will go for the practice session, and after that we'll adapt this habit for the match. Once again, why I'm saying that the way Haris was playing with the horizontal bat, he was playing towards mid wicket and ball was going towards square leg. What does it mean? That didn't get proper connection. Then coming back to Hassan Nawaz, everybody was talking about his abilities right before this his selection, but disappointment. Why? See his batting stance once again, that he used to stay at the crease with the cross shoulder. He doesn't stay straight. Of course, Mohammad Yusuf will work on it, and he will tell to Hassan Nawaz that you're playing with the wrong technique. But one basic thing, that when you're representing Pakistan, you'd have to play with the straight bat at least 5-6 deliveries, get some confidence. I've heard his presser right before this tour, and he said that we got this license to go and kill, but the things are getting opposite. And
but Asif, what you're mentioning over, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what you're mentioning over here about what, you know, where technically Hassan Nawaz is struggling, it is a monumental question once again. It's probably become one of the slogans for Sports Extra. How many first-class matches has he played? It just tells us that he's lacking that experience, and the fact that this should have been worked on the under-19 or the regional level. It's not something that you come to Pakistan cricket and just. What's happening in the world is, we all saw the way Shubman Gill has played this Champions Trophy. And I was listening to a couple of his interviews where he now has come to a stage where he's making little adjustments by himself. So he said that, you know, he has tried to, you know, stay a bit low, and that's where he's opened more of the square region. So these are little adjustments that players need to make on the international level themselves. But all of what we're talking about is something that you figure out on the domestic circuit. And that's why we're saying, for God's sake, create a criteria. Nobody's going to debut for Pakistan, any format, unless they've got at least 20 to 25 first-class games.
Well, I think rightly said that and rightly pointed out, and you have given a very important example of Shubman Gill. Nowadays, he is a super example for the modern day cricket. The way he's playing cover drives. He used to go to down the track and hit over the bowler's head. I think this is an art, and you learn with the passage of time. But the important thing is that if you're not working on yourself, if you're not doing hard work, you will never learn. The problem with the Pakistan Cricket Board is that they're not taking right decisions once again. See, bringing this guy Hassan Nawaz, I was in his favor because he was performing well in white ball cricket. At least he was doing something.
You might not like the prospect, but I thought that, you know, if you wanted to give somebody a long run and replace the opener Saibzada Farhan, was one such option. Maybe you don't like this prospect because he has been given chances, but what they did was initially they either benched him or gave him one game. He obviously made a return to Pakistan cricket. The last time he came, he played just one T20, was stumped on the very first ball, and he was nowhere else to be seen. But I'm seeing a lot of potential in the National T20 Cup. I'm seeing Mohammad Ikhlaq, I'm seeing Saibzada Farhan is playing very well. A lot of Faik has scored 100, so I think that's another prospect. Hasibullah the other day played really well. He scored 40 runs. Unfortunately, he was run out on a free hit, so he played really well. I mean, you can have options which are, full of domestic experience. I don't know why we're looking to create, and I do think that it's a fact that maybe the coaches or the management want to play something that was played in the past, that Inzamam came overnight, became a star, Wasim Akram came overnight, became a star. That was the old days now. Now is the cricket which is far more advanced. We're not going to get heroes from the streets. You'll have to build players on the domestic level. And maybe that's the mistake we're making, trying to create overnight sensations, in the cricket.
Well, I mean, it won't happen. Right before this segment, you were talking to that tremendous lady, and you were talking about there is no shortcut.
No shortcuts, yes.
You'd have to do hard work. That's it. And this franchise cricket, always in my mind, whenever I used to sit and see the Pakistan Super League, if you're hitting 3, 4 sixes and if your team is winning and you're playing a good knock in final or in qualifier, everybody will talking about your performances. They will praise you, and the franchises, they will come up with the pressure on PCB that he has done tremendous job, include him in Pakistan cricket team. So that's the problem. And see, when we talk about the domestic cricket, when you play 4-day cricket, you learn that how to stay on the pitch, you learn that what is commitment, you learn that what is your physical fitness. It's all about the 4-day cricket.
And 1 + 1 is always 2. It's never 3. That's what they need to understand over here.
See, I was just watching once again. I have watched 3, 4 times the wicket of Hassan Nawaz. What was the problem with? See, you're playing first 2, 3 deliveries with the straight bat. I used to play in club cricket in my university. Being an opening batter, when you go with the new ball, you just take an idea that how the pitch is behaving. It's a 15 overs game. You have 90 balls. It means
I was going to come to that. I've been playing a tournament organized by the Capital Development Authority. I'm representing a franchise, and it's 15 overs cricket. And trust me, what I've realized that it's still 15 overs cricket. You're not gonna, score 12 ball 50. You have to bat through, and that's where I've scored runs. I've batted the entire 15 overs, build an innings. These cricketers right now, even in coming in T20, they're too much T10 obsessed. What they don't realize, it's not about 6s and 4s. Learn from Virat Kohli what he's doing. Yes. Learn from the great players, Kane Williamson, Joe Root. You keep on taking singles, and you'll end up with a fantastic run rate. I don't know why we're obsessed with 6s and 4s anymore.
A very bright example of Josh Inglis's century against England. What kind of innings that was. Earlier he was struggling, that they've lost wickets, but he stood there. He showed a character, that commitment that I'll play till the last and I'll get a victory for my team. And this is what the Pakistan team is lacking actually. Ahmed, if you're giving these kind of examples, if you're taking name of Virat Kohli, if we're sitting in this studios and we're talking about these legend, of course, so why these cricketers are not taking some inspiration from them?
Certainly. Asif, I'm going to, obviously, in later shows, we're going to discuss that because we're into the last minute now. I must ask you about our bowling, finally. I mean, there are so many
Can I ask
options.
you one question?
Yes, please.
Why Shadab Khan didn't bowl 3 or 4 overs, 3 overs at least?
He's smart. He's very smart. He realized he's going to get hit out of the park. And
and that was the strategy.
I have always said that he's a street smart cricketer. That just doesn't mean he's intelligent. He's over intelligent. So he thought, this is the time, not ball at all. I'm going to be hit for 30, 40 runs. And there goes my career for Pakistan.
See, on a very serious note, yes, Shadab Khan, you're a bowling all-rounder. You're not a batting all-rounder. Would have to, your first responsibility.
And spinners around the world actually want to bowl when the batter is hitting you, because that's the chance where you get the most wickets. So I think that's where I want to bowl.
Exactly, this is what I'm saying. And on the other side, you see Shaheen Shah Afridi, what he has done there, bowled a very good over earlier. Then the problem is that if you're not learning the art that bowling good Yorkers outside the off-stump, that guy, Aaron Phillips, the way he was playing, reminds me Khurram Chakwal playing in tape ball cricket, to be honest.
Fantastic example, but I don't want to particularly solidify this argument, but I have received some, some word of mouth that he's not, he has a mind of his own, Shaheen. He doesn't particularly believe in, a game plan given to him. He says that, I know what I'm doing.
But if if he's not obeying the management, then what management
And
is
who
doing?
else than Aqib Javed?
Yeah.
His own coach. So
Yes, I think lots of trouble, and I think these troubles going in the dugout, in the management, in the dressing room as well. But they would have to give an answer to the nation.
Well, the answer was given long ago by your skipper of white ball cricket, who's not there on this tour, Mohammad Rizwan. He said it is either a win, a
Or
victory,
learn.
or learn. So far, I think since the past 1 year, all we're doing is learning. And I'm sure that this crash course of learning will continue and certainly something is going to come out. But thank you very much, K. Asif, for joining us. Always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Great candid discussion, and obviously I think some concrete things that Asif has mentioned as well. We wrap Sports Extra from me and the entire team. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.